What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. If you want to make money in the stock market, make sure you follow me on Twitter and advertise your company at trysmallbiz.com, where you can sign up for free or for just $1 a day. You can get yourself a premium membership, and I'll promote you all over the place. That's trysmallbiz.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm obviously at one of my favorite parks here in Alpharetta, Georgia. It's an absolutely gorgeous, sunny and about 80 degrees. And I just asked a question on Twitter. Follow me at trysmallbiz. Do you want me to do a video explaining what naked short selling by way of dark pools institutions is, and why the SEC, under its current chair or head, Gary Gensler, is doing absolutely nothing about it? Please like, share, and of course, comment below. We are the king of keep it simple, stupid. So, in simple terms, when you short a stock legally, you have to borrow it from a broker, sell it at, say, $1, with the intention of buying it back or covering your short at, say, 50 cents. When you do it illegally, which is called naked short selling, which is almost always done by a bot, an algorithm, or an institution inside of what's called a dark pool, meaning it trades off the exchange, they're playing games. And I'm going to explain very simply why it's hard to catch them, let alone prosecute them. What they'll often do, and this is more and more the case of it being a bot, an algorithm, a computer who has no thoughts, no feelings. It's ruthless. It just does what it's programmed to do. What they'll often do is they'll go long 100,000 shares and short 500,000. It's usually a 5-to-1 or a 10-to-1 ratio. That way, if they ever get caught, the SEC comes a knocking and says, "We think you're illegally naked short selling XELA, or MCOM, or MULN, or MMAT, the 4 micro caps that we currently own." That institution that's responsible for the algorithm, or in some cases, an actual human being itself, can say, "What are you talking about? We're long the stock. We've been buying the damn thing for the last 6 months." "Yeah, but we also think that you're shorting the stock and you're doing so illegally. What are you talking about? We've got an algorithm, yeah. We've got traders, yeah. We're dealing in large numbers, and yeah, sometimes we got to move a stock around in order to take a position." So that's one excuse or one strategy they use to get away with it. But an even bigger one is because they don't carry the short position for an extended period of time. Buy 100,000 at $1, short 500,000 down to 90 cents, cover it a day later, 3 days later, a week later, and do it all the way down to XELA's case, 4 cents and change. Now, a lot of that is dilution, and that only gives the naked short sellers more ammunition. But the reason why I'm here today to not only explain what naked selling is, and while they'll disguise the position by going long X and then shorting 5X, you may have seen the testimony yesterday from Gary Gensler, and he was literally shaking through half of the testimony, mostly related to crypto, especially the part with respect to Ethereum, where he refused to say if it was a commodity or a security or a financial instrument, etc. They were just raking his ass over the coals. So I think, and this is my opinion based on 30 years of trading, half of that as a broker, I think the naked shorts were emboldened today, because it was not just in our stocks, it was everywhere. I saw a number of small cap biotechs in the 30 to 50 cent range that were up on solid news in the pre-market. And then suddenly at the 9:30 open, just kaboom. They went from up 30 to down 30. We've got 4 stocks now. 2 of them were getting blasted on no bad news. So I think it's very possible, and this has to do with a tweet I put out an hour ago that said, I'm not going near anything that's under $1 until things settle down. Because the naked shorts probably woke up today and said, Gensler's toast. There's going to be nobody at the SEC who's going to be coming after us as naked shorts. Because whoever he is replaced for, and there's already a couple of petitions to get rid of his ass, whoever comes in, it's going to take 2 or 3 months minimum to get up to speed. So don't be surprised if it's an uphill battle over the next several weeks and maybe even months if you own stocks below $1. Because I want to do this video without swearing so it doesn't get shadow banned. It's very important that people understand the challenges that we face, especially now with the SEC on the ropes in corralling the naked shorts. These dark pools, these institutions, they have no feelings. They don't give a shit about you. In fact, it's the same principle that we all went through, at least most of us, the last 3 years. There's 33 million small businesses in this country. We are 99% of all U.S. corporations. But that top 1%, which is only 16,500 companies, has all the money, all the power, all the votes, all the respect. Right? We had to scratch and claw just to get loans and grants to survive. They're killing us with accrued interest that I am going to fight like hell to get rid of, including next year, forgiveness. They've got to see us and feel us and hear us going through lots of pain, and that's starting to happen now. But we're still 3 to 6 months away from really battling with the SEC, the SBA and Congress with respect to removing the accrual of interest and especially forgiving the idle loans so that you can either pay none or only some of the loan back. But it's the same principle at the SEC as it is with the SBA and virtually any other government institution. They'll talk the talk. Oh, small business is so important. It's the backbone of this country. Oh, the small investor without, the mom and pops that got the $5,000 to $10,000 IRA. Bullshit. All these motherfuckers care about, I gotta say it at least once, is making money. And it's not just the institutions and the dark pools that are getting away with the naked selling. It's the regulators too. How much money are they going to get out of the small investor or the small business? Nothing. But if they go to the institutions, whether it's a Goldman or a JP Morgan or Citadel or Susquehanna or Hindenburg, which are all notorious short sellers, they've got very deep pockets. So when they slap them on the wrist for naked short selling, they can pay the fine. You and I, we can barely pay our rent. We're struggling just to survive. In my case, and you've heard this, we've taken a $7,500 a month loss at trysmallbiz.com because 150 people have quit. I am able, at the moment anyway, to absorb that blow, but it's nasty. There are a lot of people watching right now who are in far worse off shape than I am because they didn't make money hand over fist last year like many of you did. So what it really boils down to is the top 1%, whether it's lobbyists in Washington, D.C., or the investment banking firms like a Goldman, a JP Morgan, etc. They have the money to pay the fines. So who do you think the regulators are going to kowtow and cater to? Not us. What's in it for the SEC to enforce the rule from us? What are we going to give them? More investment dollars that pale in comparison to the top 1% that control virtually half the wealth in the entire world? No. That's why they're allowing these dark pools and institutions to get away with highway robbery. It's how the SEC pays its bills. They've got a staff of a few thousand people who in many cases are not doing their job. They've got a head of the SEC right now who's on his way out the door. And the people that they're supposed to be going after are just going to laugh. Look, no one's in charge. We're going to double and triple up our efforts to destroy micro-cap companies. And in some cases, you'll get a Citadel or a Hindenburg. They'll go to XYZ Corp that they have obliterated, and they'll say words to the effect, you know, we're willing to lay off the stock. You know, we made some money, legally, of course, shorting your stock because you're way overvalued, and they'll slap them around. But we're willing to back off. And in some cases, they get paid to go away. They get paid to go away in stock. Oh, yes, they do. Don't let anybody ever fucking tell you otherwise. They get paid to go away with stock. Often, S filings is what you'll see. S3, which is what Trica did, but it was different. But that's still a shelf registration where they pay someone stock and or cash or a combination to go away and stop destroying the stock. So what infuriates me in closing, ladies and gentlemen, is not so much that it's more of the same. You know, the little guy and the little gal, David versus Goliath, and we're fighting Mike Tyson with a paper straw. That's what it feels like, right? No respect. Yeah, they know that. Of course they know that there's naked short selling going on. Of course they know that people like you and I are down 60, 70% in these stocks. In many cases with no bad news, or certainly not that bad of news that would cut a stock in half. Why was XELA down this morning at 4 cents from nearly 6 on no bad news? Now, some of that is momentum in the stochastics rolling over, but I guarantee the naked shorts, as one example said, we've got nobody at the helm at the SEC. Let's hammer the stock down as far as we think we can get it, which was close to 4 cents. And then they get in there and start to cover some, and now it's drifting higher. But how much higher can we go? I don't have an answer. And until the SEC gets someone in charge that's willing to go after and prosecute these naked shorts and dark pools, we would be better off, for the time being anyway, putting new money with 20% cash currently into stocks that trade over $1. Whether it's $1, $2, $5, $10, we've made money in many other stocks north of $1. Because I am not comfortable at this point with the SEC on the ropes putting significant dollars into stocks that can get fucking destroyed. So much for the F-bomb limits, when the SEC is either not paying attention or doesn't even have anybody in place to enforce the rules. So until next time, always remember this. Whether it's the SBA or the SEC, I'm always going to fight like hell to do what's right. I will do everything I can with what I can, with whatever gifts God gave me, to make sure that people are held accountable. Whether it's destroying Salvatore, who has ruined shareholders, including myself and many of you, or the MMAT so-called CEO who basically lied after he said he would never do a reverse split and or a dilution down here. The list goes on and on. Whether it's ethics or lack of enforcement by the regulators, it's a nonstop battle. And as long as the good Lord's going to have me, and I intend, if you saw my last video, to live to be 100 years old, I'm going to keep swinging the bat. We're going to come back. We'll recapture much of the loss that we currently have. We'll go on to bigger and better things. And at some point, someday, we'll get someone at the SEC and or a new body that will enforce the rules and outlaw and prosecute those that do the naked short selling. So until next time, from an absolutely gorgeous, and now I've got a blower behind me, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Always remember that I love you guys, and thanks so much for watching.